My love, this is a beautiful morning, and this is a feel-good story. Pull up, pull up, pull up. So I wanted to tell you this little story because it made me feel good, number one. Number two, I've been dying for the last week and a half. I had the worst food poisoning in the world, and then I caught the flu, and then I got this message, so I wanted to tell you about it. But before we get into that, I'm Sherry Martinez. If you're new here, I'm a surgery coordinator. I've been informally coordinating surgeries here in DR since 2005. I've been living here now from the US since 2019. And yeah, I'm a surgery bestie. I work in medical tourism, I work in regular tourism, as well as medical practice management and a few other things. But my main job is taking care of you. Now, with the type of job that I do, I meet people from all around the world, and I meet people with all different types of moods and personalities, wants and desires, because as you can imagine, in plastic surgery, since you get to pick it, we get a lot of different requests, let's say. The problem that most of us have, though, especially in the West, is that if you have the money for it, you think you can fix it, you think you can buy it. And guess what? We are not Build-A-Bear. So even though you want it, even though you have the money for it, even though you want to do it, you might not be able to do it all at the same time, right? I mean, realistically, that happens. But what I don't like is when surgeons agree to do certain things and then decide when you get here that, hey, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're just going to do this. Excuse me? Now, as you can see, I got serious. I had to come inside because living by the beach, that sun, I'm telling y'all, it's only 7 in the morning right now. It is killing my life, so I came inside. Don't mind me. But pay attention. Depending on the coordinator that you have, or depending on the doctor's office that you're working with, right? Because, like I say, in plastic surgery, there's very little ethics when it comes to a lot of the sales tactics, okay? And so you have to understand that this is medicine, but it's not medically necessary. And so people don't feel guilty about hustling you. Get that? So depending on your coordinator, depending on the doctor's office, depending on the person that's helping you, right, you may get really good offers or you may get steep offers. The other thing is that you may want to do different things that are not recommended by the Society for Plastic Surgery, or you may want to do things that you just don't qualify for, or you may want a bad combination of things. And unfortunately, certain people will book your surgery, will accept your request, and accept a deposit from you. And then when you get here, things change because the attitude is, well, you're already here. So if we just knock off one procedure, it's not a big deal, right? Right? So a few months back, I coordinated a surgery for a patient who wanted to come out to have surgery after having a bariatric procedure, which is very, very common. I mean, you notice the sun is doing this to my eyes, but it feels so good. So I have a patient who I quoted for a few years back. I think it was in 2022 the first time. And then she didn't have the surgery at the time, so she ended up hitting me up recently wanting to have another quote, wanting to set up her surgery finally. And so we went ahead and we did that. I spoke to the surgeon particularly because this patient was a pretty high BMI, and not a high BMI that is typically operated, or at least not openly operated. That's a whole nother conversation, so stay tuned for that video. But again, there are a lot of high BMI girls that do get operated. You just don't see them posted on social media, and there's reasons for that. But the point is that I had spoken to this doctor, I had sent all the information, I had sent the photographs, everything, and the surgery was accepted and quoted. In fact, I was given a price, I was given the information, I was told where we would be operating this patient, and boom, we set it up. Fast forward, patient is getting ready for surgery, patient's super excited, patient even has to postpone her surgery because her hemoglobin is not in the right place to have all the procedures done that she wants, and so blah, 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 she postpones, and finally she gets here. She's super excited, we spend the day, we talk, blah, 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 and we go to pre-op. When we finally get to pre-op, everything is going fine. We do the checkup, the physical check, everything, doc meets her, looks at the body, the whole nine, and guess what? No problem. When we finish pre-op, doc informs me that they're not going to be able to flip this patient to do a BBL or to do any back lipo. And that, basically what was promised was not going to be able to be delivered. Now, let me be clear. This is not a patient that wants to be a skinny thing. She doesn't want to be 125 pounds like me. She likes her body. She just wants a little bit more definition. And so obviously booty, waist, hips, hello, so important. not just taking off her belly. And we didn't go through all of this and postpone and everything else for you to do that. What's the deal? Because you've operated bigger girls. I've had bigger girls come through here. So talk to me about what's going on. What's happening? Well, the blame was bounced around from one provider to another provider to another provider to another provider. And when I realized that people were playing the game, I decided, well, you know what? Let's just take this patient somewhere else. And so we picked up and we bounced. There was another surgeon that I also work with who does higher BMIs. And I spoke to him and he said, absolutely, not a problem, this and this and this. And within 24 hours, she was having surgery because she had already done the majority of her pre-op stuff already somewhere else. I mean, and so we got it done. Now, when she had this surgery, the doctor did tell her that he wouldn't flip her completely. However, he did work with her and he did do everything that he promised he could do, which for the most part made her very happy. Needless to say, she had her surgery. It came out successful. Everything was done well. And while in recovery, she had some doubts and she was looking at her body every day and wondering, what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. I think for the most part, she was happy with what she understood she could get out of her round one. So that made me really happy. Now, it's been a little while since she's gone home, and I figured I would text and just kind of check in. I don't like to hover too much, but I do like to check in and see how they're doing. So I sent a message out to see how she was doing, and this was the response. So she says she's doing well, that she's loving the process. She had to get her lady bits drained because she was collecting some fluid. As you can see, she says 7.5 syringes worth of fluid she was collecting down there. It happens. Gravity pulls stuff down. But again, so she's doing well. But then she hit me with this. I'm grateful for all you've done for me. Honestly, I love myself so much more. You guys, plastic surgery is so much more than skin deep. I always say you guys have so much more invested in this than finances. And so that made my day. It made me want to make this video. And again, just wanting you to know that you have somebody out here who your surgery is just as important to as it is to you. And did I say that right? And that you have somebody to defend you, that you have somebody to look out for your interests, that you have somebody to have your back if you so choose. Now, with that, I'm going to leave you because this video's been long enough, and I wish you a good day. If you want to know anything, if you need anything, just hit me up on Instagram or on WhatsApp. I'm always around.